Imagine waking up from, a really complex, high-stakes surgery.
Right, something major.
Yeah, exactly. And your doctor walks into the recovery room and tells you that the procedure took exactly half the expected time.
Which is pretty unheard of.
Totally unheard of. And your recovery is projected to be twice as fast. But here's the kicker. The hands that guided the scalpel, like with sub-millimeter precision, they were heavily directed by an algorithm.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's really not anymore.
It's not. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a curated source today, the AI News Daily Digest from March 30, 2026.
It's a fantastic digest today. Lots of ground to cover.
Oh, for sure. And to you, the listener, whether you are a tech enthusiast tracking every single software update or, someone who feels completely overwhelmed by the constant barrage of AI news.
Which is completely understandable, by the way.
Right. It's a lot. But our mission today is to cut through that noise. We are going to uncover how artificial intelligence is rapidly transitioning from this behind-the-scenes data processor into an active collaborative partner in our daily lives.
Yeah, that collaborative aspect is key.
Well, let's unpack this. We often hear all these alarmist theories about AI taking over human tasks, but based on the sources we have today, isn't it actually looking a lot more like the ultimate human co-pilot?
That is exactly the thematic lens we need to use for this to digest. I mean, the narrative for a long time has treated AI as this detached tool.
Sort of like a calculator on steroids.
Exactly, a really fast calculator. But what this March 2026 digest documents is a profound shift toward augmentation.
Augmentation, right.
Yeah, AI is no longer just about raw computation. It is about taking human capability and, well, stretching it far beyond our biological limits.
Okay, wow.
We are seeing tangible breakthroughs across healthcare, the creative industries, and education that prove this technology is really functioning as a collaborative partner.
Let's jump right into that first major area from the digest, which is healthcare. We are talking about AI as the ultimate medical collaborator.
This is where the real life-saving stuff is happening.
Seriously. The source details a new algorithm developed by a leading university that is showing just remarkable accuracy in detecting the very early stages of cancer and cardiovascular conditions.
The detection rates are incredible.
But I really want to understand the mechanism here. Because how is a piece of software spotting a tumor that a veteran oncologist, someone with 30 years of experience, just misses?
Well, it comes down to how the algorithm actually sees the data compared to human biology.
Okay, walk me through that.
Sure. So a human doctor is looking at a scan, right? They are searching for a visual anomaly.
Like a shadow or a weird shape.
Exactly. The shadow, the mass, the irregular shape. But human eyes naturally filter out microscopic details to avoid sensory overload. We just can't process every single pixel.
Oh, that makes sense. Our brains would just short circuit.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But this AI doesn't have a biological filter. It isn't just looking for the shadow of the tumor. It is analyzing the pixel-by-pixel density gradients in the seemingly healthy tissue surrounding that area.
Wait, in the healthy tissue?
Yes, because it detects, it's cross-referencing patient histories, genetic markers, and imaging data to find a statistical match, all in real time.
That is wild. And the digest highlights that this isn't stopping at diagnostics, right? It is moving directly into the operating room.
Yes, the surgical applications are moving incredibly fast.
Right, because a tech startup just unveiled an AI-driven platform for surgeons to use during complex procedures.
And this is where the integration of real-time data becomes critical.
How does it work during actual surgery, though?
So the surgical platform takes preoperative imaging, like MRIs and CT scans, and overlays them directly onto a live video feed of the surgery.
Like a heads-up display for the surgeon.
Exactly. And the AI analyzes the micro-movements of the tissue. It monitors real-time blood oxygen levels and calculates the exact trajectory of the surgical instruments.
That sounds like it would take so much pressure off the surgeon.
It does. It provides the surgeon with predictive decision-making support right there in the moment. And the source notes this is leading to a significant reduction in surgery times and much better recovery rates for patients.
But I do want to push back on this a bit because it's a very real concern a lot of people have.
Sure, go ahead.
If the AI is spotting the microscopic diagnostic clues that decades of medical school miss, and it is actively guiding the surgeon's hands in the operating room.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Right. Does this risk making human doctors overly reliant or, even redundant?
What's fascinating here is that the data actually indicates the exact opposite effect.
Really? How so?
It's about elevating the physician's baseline. Consider the cognitive load on a doctor.
Which is massive.
Massive. If they aren't spending hours agonizing over an ambiguous shadow on a scan because the AI has already flagged it.
And cross-referenced it with millions of cases.
Exactly.
Huh?
That cognitive energy is freed up. The doctor can spend more time developing a holistic treatment plan, or honestly, simply sitting with the patient and providing human empathy.
Which no algorithm can replicate.
Exactly. No machine can hold a patient's hand and tell them it's going to be okay.
I hear that, but let's be realistic about how the world works.
Okay, let's be realistic.
In a high-pressure, profit-driven healthcare system, if an AI cuts diagnosis time in half, hospital administrators aren't going to give doctors more free time to sit and hold a patient's hand.
That's a fair point.
They are just going to demand that the doctor see twice as many patients. I mean, does this technology actually improve the human experience or just speed up the assembly line?
That is a highly pragmatic point, and the digest actually addresses the systemic implications of that exact scenario.
It does.
Yes, the volume of patients processed will absolutely increase. But that increased volume is the key to democratizing medical care.
Democratizing it, meaning access for more people.
Right. Right now, top-tier diagnostic talent is geographically isolated in major research hospitals.
Usually in big cities.
Exactly. But with this technology, an under-resourced clinic in a rural area suddenly has access to the exact same diagnostic accuracy as a premier medical center.
Oh, wow.
And it's right there on a tablet. So even if a doctor is seeing more patients, the quality of care each patient receives is exponentially higher. It fundamentally transforms global healthcare access.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The volume increase actually serves the underserved.
Exactly.
Now, I want to pivot drastically.
Let's do it.
We've been talking about AI operating in the clinical objective realm of recognizing invisible physical patterns to save lives.
Very concrete stuff.
Right. But what happens when we take that exact same pattern recognition engine and point it at something entirely unscientific?
Oh, this is my favorite part of the digest.
Let's talk about the highly subjective, emotional realm of human expression, the creative industries.
This transition from the clinical to the creative is really where the concept of the AI co-pilot challenges our fundamental assumptions.
Because art is supposed to be uniquely human.
Right. And the digest covers two major developments here. The first is in the music industry.
Yeah, where a prominent music producer is creating a new album by blending AI-generated melodies and harmonies with human refinement and layering.
It's a true hybrid approach.
Right, and critics are calling this hybrid approach the future of the industry. But again, I have to ask, how does an algorithm write a melody that makes a human being feel something?
It's a great question.
I mean, it doesn't have a heart to break.
No, it doesn't. Generative AI in music functions a bit like a master chef who has tasted every single dish ever prepared in human history.
Okay, I like this analogy.
The AI doesn't feel the emotion, but it has analyzed a century of recorded music. It knows statistically that dropping a minor chord into a specific upbeat tempo triggers a feeling of nostalgic longing in a human listener.
So it's literally just math.
Basically, it understands the mathematical relationship between audio frequencies and human psychological responses.
That is kind of crazy.
It is. So it can generate thousands of unique melodic variations in seconds. These are combinations of notes that a human might never naturally gravitate toward.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It almost feels like comparing the music producer to a film director who is wrangling a brilliant but completely alien actor.
An alien actor, yeah.
Like the AI is this alien giving these raw, wildly surprising, sometimes completely nonsensical musical performances.
And just throwing out endless variations.
Right, and the human producer is the director listening to the output and saying, that one specific take, that has soul.
Exactly, the human shapes it.
Yeah, the human edits it and gives it the context to become a cohesive story.
You nailed it. The human is the curator of the machine's statistical output.
Curator, yes.
But the digest pushes this even further into purely machine-generated territory in the visual arts.
This part was wild.
There is currently a visual arts exhibition showcasing artwork generated entirely by neural networks.
Entirely.
Entirely. There are no human brushstrokes on the canvas.
This blew my mind reading through the sources. And the crazy part isn't just that the machines rendered the images.
Right.
It's that human audiences are walking through this gallery and having real, profound emotional responses. to the pieces.
People are being moved to tears by algorithms.
It's wild. But before we get into the debate around that, we should probably clarify the technology. The digest specifically mentions neural networks. How does that actually differ from the traditional computer code we are all used to?
Good question. So traditional computer programming is essentially a rigid set of instructions.
Like rules.
Exactly. It is,
Oh.
if this happens, then do that.
Huh.
A programmer has to manually define every single rule. A neural network operates entirely differently.
Oh, so.
Well, it is modeled loosely on the human brain. Instead of being given rules, it is fed massive amounts of data.
So in this case, art.
Right. Millions of paintings, photographs, and sketches from human history. The network analyzes all of it and develops its own algorithmic intuition about visual aesthetics.
Intuition.
Yeah, it learns what a tree looks like, not because a programmer wrote code for a brown trunk and green leaves, but because it has analyzed a billion examples of trees and understood the underlying visual patterns.
Okay, so I have to ask the question that is sparking fierce debates among the artists and tech enthusiasts mentioned in the digest.
A big authorship question.
Yes. If the neural network generates the painting based on its own algorithmic intuition,
Right.
but a human typed in the prompt to kickstart the process, and a human audience feels the emotion when looking at it, who is the actual artist in this scenario?
This raises an important question, and honestly, it strikes at the core of how we define human expression.
Because it's confusing.
Very. Historically, creativity has been viewed as a solely human domain. You know, the spark of genius.
Yeah, the muse.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But if we look at the mechanics of the neural network, it is trained entirely on human data.
Right, it's our stuff it's learning from.
Every brushstroke of the Renaissance, every lighting technique of modern photography, it is all embedded in the machine's memory. So rather than viewing the AI as an independent creator, these tools act as a new kind of mirror.
A mirror. I love that.
Yeah, they're reflecting human ingenuity and our collective artistic history back at us.
Just refracted through the lens of machine precision.
Exactly. The machine isn't creating emotion out of thin air. It is rearranging our own historical emotional output into novel configurations.
It really blurs the lines of authorship.
It absolutely does.
And that brings us to the final area of the digest. We have seen AI adaptability map the invisible patterns of the physical body, and we've seen it map the statistical patterns of human emotion.
Right.
The exact same adaptability is now being deployed to mold and adapt to the human mind itself.
The cognitive application.
Let's talk about education.
The digest details a recent pilot program that introduced virtual AI tutors directly into classrooms.
Now, these aren't just fancy iPads, right?
No, not at all. These are not passive search engines where a student types a question and gets an article.
Like Wikipedia or something.
Right. They are active, collaborative systems designed to assist teachers and personalize the learning experience to the individual cognitive style of every single student.
And the early feedback is overwhelmingly positive. I mean, they are citing massive improvements in both student engagement and comprehension.
The numbers are staggering.
But how is the AI actually personalizing the experience? Like, what is it picking up on that a traditional textbook or a standardized test just misses?
It maps a student's cognitive limits in real time.
Real time, like while they are working.
Yes. For example, the AI tutor doesn't just grade whether an answer is right or wrong. It monitors the entire interaction.
Okay.
It measures response times. It notices if a student hovers their cursor over an answer for 4 seconds before clicking.
Wait, really? Just the cursor hover?
Just the hover, because that indicates hesitation or a lack of confidence, even if they ultimately get the question right.
Oh my gosh, that is incredible.
Right. And if a student is struggling with the mechanics of algebra, for instance, the AI detects that friction and instantly pivots.
How does it pivot?
It might switch from a text-based explanation to a visual graph. Or it could rewrite the word problem to incorporate the student's specific interest in a particular sport.
Wow.
It is an infinitely patient partner that adjusts its teaching methodology second by second.
So what does this all mean?
It's huge.
To me, it feels like a total teardown of traditional schooling because, I mean, traditional education is essentially like buying off-the-rack clothing.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
Right. The curriculum is designed to sort of fit the average student, but because of that, it rarely fits anyone perfectly.
You're either lost or bored.
Exactly. You either get bored because the teacher's moving too slowly, or you get completely lost because they are moving too fast.
Yeah.
But an AI tutor that tracks your micro-hesitations, that is like having a bespoke tailor for your brain.
A tailor that never gets tired.
Right. It adapts exactly to the contours of how your unique mind absorbs information. Does this finally solve the age-old problem of students falling behind just because they don't learn the standard way?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really does shift the entire educational paradigm.
How so?
For the last century, the industrial model of schooling has been about standardizing knowledge, getting 30 students in a room to memorize the same facts at the exact same pace.
Right, the factory model.
Exactly. But with AI handling the personalized pacing and the rote instruction, the goal shifts from standardizing knowledge to unlocking individual potential.
That sounds incredible.
It is. Every student receives exactly the cognitive support they need, exactly when they need it.
Which brings up a massive question.
The role of the teacher.
Yeah. If the AI is acting as the bespoke tailor for delivering the information, what is the human teacher doing in that classroom?
The human teacher gets to focus on the things a machine fundamentally cannot do. Well, they transform from a lecturer at the front of the room into a mentor moving among the students.
Okay, I see.
They focus on emotional intelligence, reading the room, and identifying behavioral struggles. They help students take the algebra the AI just taught them and apply it to a real-world community project.
Wow, so it makes it more practical.
Exactly. It elevates the human element of teaching by offloading the mechanical delivery of information to the AI,
It all comes back to that concept of the co-pilot.
the ultimate co-pilot.
Yeah. To briefly recap our journey today, the March 30th, 2026 Digest paints an incredibly vivid picture of our immediate reality.
It really does.
We've seen AI acting as a life-saving diagnostic sleuth, mapping the invisible density of human tissue to catch diseases before human eyes ever could.
Saving lives, fundamentally.
We've seen it act as a boundary-pushing creative muse, acting as a mirror to our collective artistic history and challenging our definitions of authorship.
Blurring those lines.
And we've seen it as a bespoke educational tailor, perfectly fitting knowledge to the individual cognitive contours of a student's mind.
It is a remarkable synthesis of technology transitioning from computation to deep structural collaboration across the most vital pillars of society.
And to you listening, I really want you to consider how this collaborative AI paradigm might soon intersect with your own daily life.
Because it will, very soon.
Exactly. Think about your workflow at the office, the creative hobbies you pursue on the weekends, or even how your kids are tackling their homework at the kitchen table. The ultimate co-pilot is here, and it's integrating into the messy human aspects of our world.
I think the most important takeaway is this lingering thought for us to mull over.
I'd love to hear it.
If artificial intelligence can now flawlessly diagnose the hidden depths of our physical bodies, seamlessly co-create our most emotional art, and perfectly map the cognitive learning styles of our minds,
Yeah.
how might this constant, intimate partnership fundamentally change our definition of what it means to be uniquely human in the coming decades?
Man, that is a question we are all going to have to explore together as this technology continues to unfold. Thank you so much for joining us on today's deep dive. Stay curious.